All right. Shalom, shalom, shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. And peace and salutations to the Akim out there spreading this truth like wildfire in all truthfulness and in all sincerity. And shalom to the rest of the hopeful elect out there. Alright, I'm going to title this video, You People That Think That So-Called Latinos and Native Americans Ain't the Tribes Are Spiritually Retarded. I'm going to start off with, Second Esdras chapter 13, verse 40. I'm going to start at verse 39. Whereas thou saw, which that he had gathered another peaceable multitude unto him. Verse 40, those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, whom Salmanassar the king of Assyria led away captive, and he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land. Verse 41, but they took this counsel among themselves, that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt. Why? Verse 42, that they might there keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land. Verse 43, and they entered into Euphrates by the narrow passages of the river. Verse 44, for the Most High then showed signs for them and held still the flood, so they were passed over. Verse 45, for through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half, and the same region is called Arsareth. Verse 46, then dwelt they there until the latter time, and now when they shall begin to come. So they dwelt there until the latter time, which is now. So basically, y'all BOIs, y'all cannot tell me where Arsareth is, where the further country where never mankind dwelt. And don't say that it's Africa, because Africa was already inhabited by the Hamites. Why would they go to where the Hamites are? No, they came over here to the Americas. They came over here to the Americas. To what is known as the Americas today, a land never mankind dwelt. It just makes sense. And for those of y'all saying that say, but they don't look black. Well, a lot of them do. A lot of them do look so-called black. There's a lot of gad that is scattered among you so-called black people. A lot of y'all, you so-called black people, think you're Judah, but you're really Gad. And a lot of Northern Kingdom is dark as fuck. A lot of Northern Kingdom is dark as fuck. Well, why do they got that mongoloid look? Well, some of them got it because you look at where the Northern Kingdom was, and you look at their ancestors, or the Northern Kingdom. When you look at where the Northern Kingdom was, it's right next to Moab and Ammon, and right next to, which are the so-called Chinese and Japanese, the Moabites and the Ammonites. And it's right next to, and they went to war a lot. So they also, Jake got down with Moabite and Ammonite females, man. And that's, Northern Kingdom Jake got down with Moabite and Ammonite females. And over time, that changed a lot of their appearance. And let me get Hosea 7 and 8. Ephraim, he hath mixed himself among the people. Ephraim is a cake not turned. Some of y'all say, well, that doesn't mean that, man. Ephraim, he hath mixed himself among the people. Ephraim is a cake not turned. And that's not just talking about the tribe of Ephraim. That's talking about the tribe of Ephraim, which would be the Puerto Ricans. That's talking about the Northern Kingdom, the whole Northern Kingdom. That's the house of Joseph. They called the house of Joseph, also called Ephraim, after the head tribe that was running them. Just like the house of Judah is called the house of Judah because the head tribe that was running them was the tribe of Judah. But really, and these Northern Kingdom Jakes, these so-called Latinos and Native Americans, they fit the curses. They fit the curses. Oh yeah, they were never taken as slaves. Yeah, they were. They were being put on slave ships before before 1619, when the first Judites were taken to North America, when they were the first ones were taken to the colonies that would become America. Before even the slaves that were being taken to, before the Judite, Southern Kingdom slaves, Judite, Benjamin, Levite, Southern Kingdom slaves that were being taken to the Americas, period, to Arthur, period, by the slave ships. Before that happened, before they were being taken to Arthur, a lot of Northern Kingdom was being taken as slaves. I mean, you had Columbus that was that took natives as slaves to Europe. For example, and that was going on off the coast of what they call North America today, man. Off the coast of what was known as the U.S. today. You know, Babylon the Great, right? The tribe of Gad, which is the Native Americans of North America, were being taken slaves and were being sold, and they were being sold by the colonists too. They're being sold by the colonists. Like for example, the Babylon just celebrated Thanksgiving. The real story of Thanksgiving was there was a massacre of the Pequot tribe in Mystic, Connecticut, and they were also selling Native Americans as slaves. Not only massacring them, but selling them as slaves. And so, yeah, you do have a lot of Native American that's scattered in Europe. And that's also the curses. Or I'm going to get Deuteronomy 28 and 68. And Yahweh, by Shemi Awashai, shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. There shall be you shall be sold by your enemies from bondman and bondwoman. No man shall buy you. Don't get smart with me, because the bayou part, it well, you BOIs even know this, that it actually means redeem when you break it down. It it goes back to the law of redemption from the law of redemption, like a brother could redeem you from a heathen, could literally redeem you from being a slave to a heathen, basically. Long story short, I believe it's in Deuteronomy too, if not Leviticus. And also Deuteronomy 28 and 64. And Yahweh, I'm going to do this. And Yahweh shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. Verse 65. Which the wood and stone represents Christianity and Islam. The wood being Christianity and the stone being Islam. Verse 65. And among those nations shalt thou find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest. But Yahweh shall give Yahweh Shemi Shai shall give thee there a trembling heart and failing of eyes and sorrow of mind. Verse 66, and thy life shall hang in doubt before before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shall have none assurance of thy life. That happened to them too. A lot of Issachar, northern, well, they are northern kingdom, but a lot of Issachar, they are northern kingdom, but a lot of Issachar, so-called Mexicans, were taken to the Philippines. A lot of them were taken to the Philippines. A lot of them were taken to Spain. A lot of them were taken. You even had Northern Kingdom that was shipped off to the colonies in Africa. So you got Northern Kingdom scattered all over. And also Genesis 49 tells you who the tribes are too. For example, Issachar is a strong ass crouching down between two burdens. Who does that? What's the national symbol of Mexico besides that eagle and snake, which is also misunderstood by y'all? But who is what is another symbol of Mexico though? Another one, the burro. It's a commonly used animal over there. Crouching down between two burdens. That's an ass. That's a donkey. And Issachar is a strong ass crouching down between two burdens. Verse 15, and he saw that the rest was good in the land, that it was pleasant, and bowed his shoulder to bear, and became a servant under tribute. Come on, if that ain't the so-called Mexican, I don't know who is. They're the hardest working people out here. Because they are a strong ass. That's why Esau picked them for all the hard labor jobs. Because they're Issachar. And hard labor jobs, you see Judah and you see Issachar. You see so-called blacks and Latinos. Why so-called blacks and Latinos? Why not so-called blacks and Chinese people? Why not so-called blacks and Hamites, indigenous Africans? Why don't you see that? No, you would see them as a overseer, but you ain't gonna see them working them jobs like that at the bottom. But who do you see at all them construction sites? You see mostly doing the grunt work, right? Well, not just the grunt work, a lot of the other jobs too. But who do you see them doing the hard labor as well? It's the you see a lot of Issachar, you see a lot of so-called Mexicans doing it. Who working in them farms. So these people, as long as they can find work, they bow their shoulder and become a servant under tribute. Brought his shoulder to bear. When you go to Mexico, that land is very present. And they were servants unto tribute to the Spaniards, and now to the so-called American Edomites, and still to the Spanish-speaking Edomites that's in the land running the country, cause it ain't no cause it ain't no indigenous Mexicans running that country. They don't run that country. Just like the other so-called Latino countries, they ain't run by the indigenous people there. So don't tell me they have a country. And also, the same thing can be said about the so-called Haitians and the West Indians. They have countries, right? But they're either being run by puppets or terrors or just straight up heathens. Okay, same for Northern Kingdom countries. And the reservations, they're like ghettos, man. The res is the hood for Native Americans. When you look into it, plots of land that Esau didn't want, man, because he took the fatness of the earth, the land with the most resources. So the land that Esau didn't want, he left it to the tribe of Gad, the reservations. I mean, all the shit that was done to them at them schools, them boarding schools, all the shit that was done to them there. You can't tell me that Gad ain't who we say it is. You know, verse 19, Genesis 49 and 19, Gad, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last. You know, which the troop did overcome him, and we're waiting for the last prophecy, which is gonna happen when the tribes when it's gonna happen when this happens. First one to rise up gonna be Judah though. Always does that. Zechariah 9 and 13. When I have bent Judah for me, filled the bow with Ephraim, and raised up thy sons, O Zion, against thy sons, O Greece, and made thee as the sword of a mighty man. So when that happens, that's when Gad is going to rise up. Let me get back to Genesis 49 chapter. In every last one of these scriptures, they fit who we say they fit. For your eyes to see. Zebulun shall dwell by the haven of the sea. He shall be for a haven for ships, and his border shall be into Sidon. Which Sidon was like a border for will ultimately be fulfilled in the kingdom, but it's being fulfilled now in a way because in a way that Panama Canal area, when you look at it, it's in a way that's a fulfillment because that's where Zebulon is. That's where Zebulon is. That Panama Canal, that's a haven for ships. That part is fulfilled. The border being unto Sidon, that part is going to be fulfilled in the kingdom. Every one of these, though. Verse 20, out of Asher's bread shall be fat, and he shall yield royal dainties. You look at all you gotta do is you look at the type of food that these countries produce, and yeah, man. But also, in there's another one. There's one other one that goes into it better. Moses was bringing out what would happen to the tribes. Yeah, verse 24. And of Asher, he said, let Asher be blessed with children. Let him be acceptable to his brethren, and let him dip his foot in oil. Verse 25. Thy shoes shall be iron and brass, and as thy days so shall thy strength be. The most, the biggest producers of iron and brass are are Peru and Brazil. Those are the metals that need to make them. Iron and brass. It's Peru and Brazil. And where's the oil at? The oil's at the top of their land, Venezuela. And right now, Venezuela is about to for fight for a land that they used to have, but it's a part of the country of Guyana now due to some colonialism bullshit, man. Some arbitration bullshit where they was represented by American Edomites and versus the British Edomites, and basically it's like whenever you get you get a state assigned lawyer. You know, probably gonna lose the case, so they lost it. And it was basically it was done dirty, and they're trying to get back because they found a lot of oil there. But that area used to be part of Venezuela, and it was taken because of some bullshit. So that is already being fulfilled. Let him dip his foot in oil. But, but, let me be acceptable to his brethren, and let him dip his foot in oil. Yeah, but they would have even more oil. Because that land is indigenous to the tribe of Asher, which a lot of them Guineas is Benjamin, but you got Asher among them too, especially the natives. They would be Asher. But yeah, man. Even this one, Naphtali, that's didn't. I'm gonna read that scripture. And Naphtali, verse 23 of Naphtali, he said, "O Naphtali, satisfied with favor and full with the blessing of Yahweh, possessed thou the west and the south." When we look at the map of Naphtali, in the map of Israel, where all the tribes used to be, they did not possess the west and the south. So that is talking about today the Chileans and Argentinians. I can look that up, the map of Israel. Hold on. Yeah, let me do this so y'all can see better. Let me click on this. There was Naphtali, actually the opposite, occupying the north and the east. There's where Naphtali used to be. So Naphtali is obviously the Argentinians, the indigenous ones, and the indigenous Chileans, because you have a lot of Edomites there too. Well, some of them so-called white Argentinians are not Edomites, because some you have a lot of Italians that immigrated there, and you have Southern Kingdom scattered among the Italians. So people like Messi, he's probably Southern Kingdom. So there's brothers that say he's Northern Kingdom, but he's of so-called Italian descent. So he's most likely, he could be Northern Kingdom. Our people are scattered, but he's most likely Southern Kingdom. He's a Jake. Come on, that type of talent. That's another thing too. Their spirit bears witness. Not that one, another one. I'm gonna have to go with witness with our spirit. Let me get it. Romans 8:16. The spirit. Oh, Salakia. There you go. The spirit itself bears witness with our spirit that we're the children of Yahweh Shem Shai. Who are the children of Yahweh Shem Shai? Who is the children of the Most High? Psalms 82:6. I have said ye are gods, and all you are children of the Most High. Sons of the Most High when you break it down. Furthermore, what does Yasharala mean? A prince of power. What is a prince to a king? A son. So their spirit bears witness. Come on, Northern Kingdom got that flavor, man. They got that salsa. I mean that literally, and also their music. Come on, that they produce. They can get down too. Matthew 5:13. Ye are the salt of the earth, but if the salt had lost its savor, wherewith shall it be salted? It is thenceforth good for nothing, but to be cast out and to be trodden under foot of men. Come on. This, come on. Come on. Northern Kingdom got that flavor. Not just Southern Kingdom. But this is what it is right here. Isaiah 11 and 13. The envy also of Ephraim shall depart, and the adversaries of Judah shall be cut off. Ephraim shall not envy Judah, and Judah shall not vex Ephraim. And let me also address, so this prophecy that y'all would envy each other and vex each other, but it's going to come to an end. And why? Because the house of David is, the tabernacle of David is being raised, that is fallen. Amos 9 and 11. In that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof. And I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old. That tabernacle of David. Who is the tabernacle of David? Who is the tabernacle of David? Well, all 12 tribes, man, were under David, under King David. And close up the breaches thereof, the divisions. And I'll raise up his ruins, and I'll build it as the days of old, starting with the elect. Well, the elect would be the house of David, actually. So this is talking about the elect. Verse 12, that they may possess the remnant of Edom, and of all the heathen which are called by my name, say the Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai that doeth this. Let me say something. It is Esau that has promoted all this division, and the heathens exploited it. The division between the tribes, Esau promoted it, the heathens exploited it. According to that crafty counsel to keep our people down. Psalms 83 and 1. A song or psalm of Asaph. Keep not thou silence, O Yahweh. Hold not thy peace and be not still, O Yahweh. Verse 2. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up their head. Verse 3. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. Verse 4. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. Verse 5. For they have consulted together with one consent, they are confederate against thee. Verse 6. The tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites of Moab and the Hagarenes. Verse 7. Gabal and Ammon and Amalek, the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre. Verse 8. Assur is also joined with them. They have hope in the children, which means helped, the children of Salah. You can't tell me that Northern Kingdom, when you go into a Northern Kingdom hood, you go to the barrio, like you go to the west side and it's Ishmaelites and Edomites owning on all them stores, for example. own all them businesses. And the Ishkarit restaurants, the real Ishkarit restaurants, not no Taco Bell, the real ones are struggling out there. The real ones are struggling. You know, because Taco Bell's owned by Esau. If you can't tell, Taco Bell is owned by Esau. But you see the same thing like when you go into the hood. When you go into the hood, you know, the actual Jake businesses are struggling because they're under the curses. The Ishmaelites own most of the stores. The Ishmaelites and the Edomites own most of the stores. And there's a bunch of Chinese restaurants. It's the same thing. There's a bunch of Chinese restaurants feeding our people abominations. The Ishmaelite food stores feeding our people abominations and cigarettes and cheap liquor licking the wounds of our people. Yeah, you have liquor stores everywhere too, which drinking liquor is not off. You do it in moderation. But that's how they make the money off of our people. Let me get that. Because Lazarus was talking about our people. In case you don't remember. In case you don't know that yet. Lazarus was talking about our people. Luke 16 and 20. And there was a certain beggar named Lazarus who was laid at his gate full of sores. There's a parable. There's a parable for you to understand. This was a parable. So Lazarus represented someone. And the sores of the curses. Verse 21, and desiring to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table, moreover the dogs came and licked his sores. Heathen nations are compared to dogs. And the dogs came and licked his sores. Verse 22, and it came to pass that the beggar died and was carried by the angels into Abraham's bosom. And the rich man also died and was buried. That represents the kingdom, carried by the angels into Abraham's bosom, representing the kingdom. The rich man also died and was buried. Let me get that precept. Because it reminds me of this one. Job 27 and 15. Those that remain of him shall be buried in death, and his widows shall not weep. So is an allusion to that. That's a precept to it. And let me get verse 13 and 39. Matthew chapter 13 and 39. Not verse 13, but chapter 13. The enemy that sold them is the devil. The harvest is the end of the world, and the reapers are the angels. The reapers are the angels. Let me get oh, I didn't get it. Okay. Rich man also died and was buried. Buried in death. Verse 23. And in hell he lift up his eyes, being in torments, and seeth Abraham afar off, and Lazarus in his bosom. Verse 24. And he cried and said, Father Abraham, have mercy on me, and send Lazarus. Lazarus is his father too. He's Esau's father as well. You have to remember. But the blessing went through Isaac and Jacob. But anyways, yeah. Father Abraham, have mercy on me and send Lazarus, that he may dip the tip of his finger in water and cool my tongue, for I am tormented in this flame. Cool my tongue. The flame represents all the hell he's gonna catch, you know, in the kingdom when the Israelites rule. But the whole point of me bringing this out is that the northern kingdom is Lazarus too, man. The so-called Latinos and Native Americans is Lazarus too. They're Lazarus too, man. They ain't prospering. The true northern kingdom ain't prospering like that, for except for the sellouts. Just like Judah, the true northern kingdom ain't prospering like that. And the dogs lick their wounds as well. They lick their sores as well. Let me get precepts to that. Jeremiah 12 and Jeremiah 30 and 12. For thus saith Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, thy bruise is incurable, and thy wound is grievous. Slack it. Verse 13, there is none to plead thy cause that thou mayest be bound up. Thou hast no healing medicine. That reminds me of another one. I just have to Google it. Isaiah 1 and 6. Isaiah 1 and 5. Why should you be stricken any more? You will revolt more and more. The whole head is sick, and the whole heart faint. Verse 6. For the soul, from the sole of the foot, even unto the head, there is no soundness in it, but wounds and bruises, and putrefying sores they have not been closed, neither bound up, neither mollified with ointment. So Lazarus is clearly Israel. Clearly, y'all. Clearly, well, but the Northern Kingdom is as well. Latinos and Native Americans are as well. Well, with that, I hope this video was edifying. I want to give all praises to Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai Bahashim Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and salutations to the Akim out there spreading his truth like wildfire in all truthfulness and all sincerity. And shalom to the rest of the hopeful elect out there. Baba Bal, that to Babylon. Abadla Adawamium, that to these other nations. Abadla Gawayim, that to, well, Abadla Adawamium means that to these Edomites. Abadla Gawayim, that to these other nations. Abadla Ayebim Nawa, that to the rest of our enemies. Shalom, or the rest of our enemies being 2/3 of you so-called black people, Latinos, Native Americans, and you Israelite foreigners looking like the other nations, aka speckled birds, that live here in these states, in Babylon the Great, as well as you wicked Israelites scattered to the four corners of the earth. Shalom, stay strong. Ababa Ball, Wa, and Yashrala forever. Shalom.